White House spokesperson and liar Barbie Karoline Leavitt just landed herself back in the headlines today. And for once, it's not about her spouting lies before the press room podium. No, Ms. Leavitt is facing some new legal questions over some major money she owes in excess of $250,000. Think this woman has a future? You might want to rethink that one. Welcome to the David Reddish Show. Welcome, beautiful Occupy Democrats viewers. I'm David Reddish. And once again, before I begin, thank you for all of your well wishes as I recover from surgery. And remember to stay up to date on all political news in the United States. Subscribe to our new channel now. There's a link in the description. You know I hate to ask, and I know you hate to hear it, but as soon as we hit 500,000 subscribers, we're partying on this show. And we are just about halfway there now, so help get the word out any way you can. But enough with that. Let's get to Liar Barbie, shall we? In the Trump 2.0 era, few White House or cabinet officials inspire the groans and eye rolls as the name Karoline Leavitt. Leavitt, who seems to model her look on Mormon wives being held hostage by their husbands, is currently expecting her second child with her much older husband. 32 years, people. He could almost be her grandfather. But never mind. In her job as White House spokesperson, she's become known for exchanges like these.
How was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question.
And if you thought that was classy, stay with me here. It does get worse. Before she became her combative presidential spokesliar self, doing her best to erode democracy from the press room podium, Leavitt made another bid for power in Washington with a congressional run, which proves only that she is the real-life Tracy Flick from the movie Election. If you haven't seen it, stream it and tell me I'm wrong. Besides, it's one of Reese Witherspoon's best performances. But I digress. Have a look at Liar Barbie when she was vying to be Congressional Barbie.
Democrat incumbent Congressman Chris Pappas and his Republican challenger Karoline Leavitt face off for the 1st Congressional District during Thursday's granted state debate at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics, the two candidates first diving into the protection of Social Security.
I want to look for sustainable retirement solutions, and all options are on the table. I won't continue to ignore this problem, like my opponent Chris Pappas and the career politicians in Washington, D.C., but I will look at all solutions again to protect those benefits for our retirees and seniors and to ensure they remain for future generations as well.
So you see, she didn't exactly have the charisma to take a Connecticut congressional seat. And did you happen to notice her lips there? They looked quite different, didn't they? For more on Leavitt's oral morphology, see our other videos here on the channel, especially the one about the Vanity Fair photo shoot. Moving on. Now, today it seems Leavitt's failed congressional bid is coming back to haunt her, to the tune of $326,000. Check this out. Online magazine Not Us now reports that Karoline Leavitt's old congressional campaign committee, Karoline for Congress, remains deep in debt to a host of companies and individuals. This information comes from a new disclosure filed with the Federal Elections Commission late last week. The disclosure further reveals that Leavitt's committee had made no progress in paying down debts last year. And remember, this is from Leavitt's 2022 congressional bid, so it's been a while. The big issue, according to this story, is that the majority of Karoline for Congress's debt, more than $210,000, is money that the campaign owes in the forms of refunds to contributors who donated more than federal election law allowed. So in other words, the campaign broke the law in accepting the money and in failing to pay it back within the required 60-day window. However, the committee now insists that it is broke and that it will not issue refunds despite the violations of campaign finance law. It's also important to note at this point that while this was Leavitt's campaign, she is not personally liable for any of its debt. And you would think she would want to pay people back, especially after she lost. Look, her campaign is hardly the first to face this kind of scandal, and similar campaigns have a mixed history of paying them back. For example, Hillary Clinton managed to pay off her campaign debts following her failed 2008 presidential campaign. Leavitt could do the same things Hillary did, like soliciting donations, or paying the campaign debts herself, or holding fundraisers. But at least for the moment, it looks like she's fine breaking campaign finance law and doing her best to put the onus of being a big loser behind her. It's just another example of how this administration of failures continues to evade responsibility for its misdeeds and for taking advantage of its supporters. Personally, I look forward to seeing her leave and take up a new gig as yet another spokesmodel for the horrors of Mar-a-Lago face. And once again, no, I am not going to spell the word horrors for you. This is the David Reddish Show.